Hey there, it's so nice to see you here. Over the last couple of weeks, I've seen so many people picking up watercolor painting as their new hobby because they had finally more time to learn something new, and I'm so excited about it. And other people just needed something that they can do to help them during these crazy times to relax, and I'm so happy you discovered watercolor painting. Sometimes it can be difficult and confusing to figure out what hobbies to pick, but I think the most challenging part is how to actually stick to a hobby once you've picked one. At some point, life will go back to normal, we'll get busy again, other things will seem more important to us than our self-care. So having a creative hobby might become the last thing you'll be thinking about. And I think we are all guilty of starting 5 million different things, and sometimes we hardly continue with it or don't finish something. I feel like sometimes we wait for the perfect moment to start something and expect it to be flawless, like I have a perfect streak every day. For example, working out every day, painting every day. And sometimes things become challenging, things get in the way, and when we miss just 1 or 2 days, we feel like, oh well, I might as well just quit on all of that. Because I believe our perfectionism simply ruins it for us, right? But it's not really about starting at the perfect moment or having a perfect routine in place that keeps you moving. I think it's more about just showing up for yourself. Or maybe you just started with painting with watercolors, but for whatever reason you lost the drive to continue this hobby. And this happens a lot. I feel like whatever it is that gets in our way, it's usually because we simply forget why we wanted to do something and started something in the first place. And I feel like it's the fears and doubts and the perfectionism that really is in our way. And when I was working with kids and gave creative workshops, I realized that small children simply immerse themselves in painting whatever they wanted. Being creative was just part of their everyday life that made them happy. But I noticed that the older they got, the more they asked for feedback and approval of the work. It was rather something about if this is okay what they were doing. It was no longer about them just enjoying painting and being creative, but rather about fitting in, not being criticized, and worrying about what others would say about their artwork. And then social media and other outlets train us to think that everything has to be easy, that everyone is so perfect, that we feel that whenever things get tough, something must be wrong and we're not made for it. So we, again, quit. So new routines and hobbies are being tossed out of the window because things become challenging and not perfect anymore. So what can you do to stick to a hobby or things you want to do for yourself? I believe the number one thing that drives people is their intention and their why. We stop pursuing things because things get tough or because they seem less urgent than our to-dos in our everyday lives, and then we just lose sight of this why. We're not in touch anymore with our intentions and our whys, and we simply forget about the purpose and why we started something in the first place. And maybe you wanted to pick up watercolor painting as a hobby because it will help you spend time with yourself and it will help you relax, or maybe so you can spend time with your family or friends while doing something fun together. Or maybe you wanted to create your own art as a meaningful gift for your family and friends. I also love watercolor painting because you get to learn so much about yourself and the valuable life lessons that you can use in your everyday life. So for me, watercolor painting has been such a source of inspiration and just learning in general. I use it to not only relax, but also to work on myself, really. From training yourself to thinking creatively, pushing through artworks that you might not like, and then learning to simply enjoy the learning process without worrying about what others might say, because you paint for yourself and not for other people's approval. And it also teaches you to adapt and to readjust while letting go of the perfect outcome. I mean, it's like with life, and I keep telling this all the time, not everything goes according to plan, so you need to learn to adapt, adjust, and learn as you go. And what a lot of people do is they make it mean something about themselves when things don't work out or they make mistakes or something becomes challenging. So working through this while painting is such a great way to work through that, because at the end of the day, it's only paper. And if you need more info about what supplies you need to get started with watercolor painting, you can check out my free guide in the description box down below. And in my next video, I'm going to share 10 things I wish I knew before starting with watercolors that hopefully save you a lot of frustration and a lot of money. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!